2022 at 5:30 p.m. in the City Council chambers of the Brookshire City Hall located at 4029 5th Street, Brookshire, Texas 77423 to consider the following. Agenda item number 1 is prayer and pledge to the flag. Would anybody like to offer the prayer? We'll do the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Pledge the U.S. flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Casto, if you'll perform the roll call, please.
President Jeremiah Hill.
Present.
Vice President Kathy Guy.
Present.
Secretary Treasurer Mary Aguilar.
Present.
Director Shannon Mayberry. Director Quotacious Dunn. Director Suzette Banks.
Here.
Director Amanda Newendorf.
Present.
President, you have a quorum.
Agenda item number 3, public comments. Do we have anybody signed up? All right. Agenda item number 4, consent agenda. Is there any discussion, or does somebody want to maintain a motion or entertain a motion?
I move to accept the consent agenda.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to agenda item number 5, discussion possible action, approve inventory retention or disposal. You'll see in your packet labeled 5, it's labeled 5B, but it's 5. There's a list of equipment, or there's a stack of equipment at this point in the back that a lot of it has no value. There are some items that do have some intrinsic value to them. The conservative approach would be that we go through this list and discuss, unless y'all are good with just what's proposed here, destroying those items 1 through 16 or disposing of them in some form, which I assume has to be some sort of legal disposal of some sort. And then sell. There's 2 items that are larger items that have some intrinsic value that we may want to consider selling. I am open to discussion or anything y'all would like to do on this.
Just a little difference between you as an EDC and the city. The city has formal processes to get rid of equipment. EDC doesn't necessarily have that, so the quote unquote conservative approach would be to follow what the city would do and just list out the equipment that you would define as surplus or not functioning, something like that, and that can be disposed of. But if you think that some of that stuff has value, that there's a way to sell it, some kind of marketplace, I don't think there's an express prohibition against an EDC doing that.
I mean, I think the software disk, with everything being cloud-based these days, that could probably definitely just be destroyed, especially looking at the numbers on them, where it's 7 and 8.
Yeah, some of that
Those are
stuff dates back to
dates back.
1998.
Yes.
So I don't know that we're missing out on anything.
I mean, I don't know if an overhead projector would have anything that would,
This is one of those,
we're talking about like a,
the old school
where you put
slides
the
that
clear
were
page and,
Yep.
no,
that you
never
dry
mind.
erase right on, and
Yeah, the vis-a-vis markers.
unless the school wants it to project stuff when they do props or something like that, I don't know that we have an intrinsic.
I would hope at this point that they
Purpose
could
for
just
it.
pull up a picture on a computer and project it, but.
I would assume, but I'm not going to assume.
Could have a history class that might want to.
That you may. There may be a museum at this point that's
Put it next to the
raring for
microfiche.
one.
Don't we have antique shops we can put
Yeah,
it in there,
right.
right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, that wasn't nice. Vicky.
So on the list of 1 through 16, let's discuss that first. Are there any issues with destroying any of these items in y'all's mind?
No?
No, I would say definitely the computers, just in case there's anything.
No, absolutely. We'd pull the hard drives.
Those are
Exactly.
Clear hard drives.
Yeah.
I was gonna say just make sure.
I would think we'd pull them, dispose of them through another institution. in
Okay,
some
yeah,
way,
that's what. Yeah,
and the shells.
a like actual proper
go.
disposal.
Yep.
No problem there.
Items 1 and 2. I struggle with this because, I went on basically eBay and Marketplace and stuff like that, and saw what was out there. So this is a range, but it doesn't mean that's what somebody's really willing to pay
Right.
in the real world. So is there a number on those two items that y'all would say, if we get up to that, we're okay with? If we get more than that, obviously go for it. What would be y'all's preference?
Do we have an estimated age on these? I mean, are these like within a couple years old?
Couple years.
Okay, that's why we're looking.
That's,
at
I
them.
assume Ms. Casto can slap my hand and correct me if she wants to, but they appear to be just a couple years old.
I mean, I think if that's the estimated eBay value, then, you know, if we were offered 75% of that, I would say just
Take it.
better than zero,
Mhm.
having it sit there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Agreed.
same thing on both items.
Yep,
Mhm.
I would
You
think
can get
so,
up
yeah.
to 75% of the estimated value. Okay, do I have a motion?
I move to dispose of items 1 through 16 and accept a sale value of 75% or more on the sale items number 1 and 2.
A second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All righty. Moving on to agenda item number 6. As y'all, did I get my numbers off? I did. Agenda item number 6, we discussed stopping the annual Christmas party and doing quarterly business retention and expansion events at a much lesser cost. I'd like to see us go ahead and agree in theory to a couple of dates, meaning the months, and then we kind of tailor the dates down from there. I'm thinking November as the first date, and I thought I had you put on here. So that'd be November, February, May, and August. So it kind of stretches it out through the year.
Okay.
Does that
Like
work?
the second month of each quarter.
Correct. I figure the first quarter's difficult in some ways, depending on what they've got going on.
Yeah.
And then if you look on the calendar, if you go into December, there's a lot going on for a lot of people. So on that side, I'd rather err towards November. But then if you look at erring towards October and pushing it around that schedule, you're getting into a whole nother issue too.
So what, can you repeat those again? September?
September? No.
No,
yeah.
August.
November.
August, November, February, and May.
Would probably be the easiest to avoid holidays as well.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I envision looking at those dates. All right, do I have a motion?
A motion to approve it.
Okay, second.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All righty. Moving on to agenda item number 7, update on projects. There's really not a substantive update. We still have some items to discuss. The parks were, signed off on, and we have looked at the initial stuff on that. Everything else is still kind of in a, planning process. I'm hoping by the next meeting to discuss the convention center, not the convention center, the museum project. However, we're still kind of going back and forth on the county level to finalize the paperwork there. So it'd be a little bit premature to do too much until that happens. With that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Barnes, agenda item number 8.
If, it's agreeable with the board, I'll remain seated. You have in your packet, my report. I just wanted to highlight a couple of things when you put these glasses on. 10/6/22, you'll look at that, you have some pretty good news as far as I'm concerned. Keep is, and I'm kind of bound by a confidentiality agreement in place. One, you see there, 1 million square feet of the newest portion of the nearly completed construction is leased to a single tenant, which is phenomenal. And when we can get to the point, we'll want to make a lot of hoorah, if you will, relative to that project specifically. I can say that I met with the engineering firm inadvertently. I met with them inadvertently. I wasn't scheduled meeting in my new world order as interim city administrator. I happened to be working with the permit folks and thought I heard what I thought I heard, and went out, and their engineer was here starting the initial process on doing the tenant improvement on the main square feet, all of which is phenomenal news. In addition, you'll note there's another 200, I think it's 22,000 square feet. I've been working with the brokerage group on that, and Stream says they feel pretty close to the lease coming forward. So we could have here in the next 60 days, 90 days maybe, and understood that'd be like 1.23 million additional square feet announced in Brookshire. Around the state, Brookshire is perceived as one of the, justifiably so, as one of the highest industrial markets in Texas. And this is kind of like, so I wanted to make you aware that those things were in play, in case you heard something on the street about a 1 million square feet, yes, a 1 million square foot lease that is going to be announced. You'll see again, I always like to make comments, did not qualify. For example, some of these projects want 750 acres on a rail. We don't have that. You'll see another one in there where it indicates extreme water amount. We don't have that to the extreme that's required by that project. And in order to put them through paces with their friends at the water district, the project would be built 40 miles away before they'd ever get it going there. Did I say that? Yeah, I just said it. But that's why you'll see some of these did not qualify. But I'm really pleased with what is happening at Empire West. Those guys, again, are the easiest group that I've ever worked with in my career. They respond, they're quick, they have questions. I don't even think they've made bad jokes about our lawyer, have they? I mean, they're really good guys, and they get a product out and get it going. In terms of the any questions about the report? In the newsletter, it's pretty typical. We continue to highlight Brookshire and future ed performance as well as some of our other clients. But we continue, and I think we heard this pretty routinely last week at TML. People saying Brookshire's on fire in terms of industrial development. And I'm happy to say, oh yeah, it's moving well. Keep in mind that puts a lot of taxes into the city's revenue stream and provides significant employment for our citizens. So with that, I'll end my report and see if there's any questions.
When you say that there were businesses that had extreme water requests, you're saying that our water district simply cannot provide the volume they were needing? Or not without an exorbitant amount?
I wouldn't, in my opinion, they wouldn't know how to react to the request for $2 million.
Our water district?
I should be careful.
Why be careful?
Watch Tanya come in or somebody, maybe their attorney, God forbid, will come in and say, actually, we could accommodate 2.1 million, and then I would say, well, how do you provide to keep the water running in the community?
Right.
All right.
I don't want to confuse them with the facts. So rather than go through that, and the project was a bit of a different project. I wasn't too set on it.
Was not
My
mine.
fault. My daughter.
Kind of had an extraterrestrial sound
I
to it.
know, I was like.
Wow, that was,
being
that was,
invaded.
Thought we were dancing.
I did too.
He didn't hear it.
I can hear it.
We did, and it vibrated everybody. Sorry.
Something I said.
No.
Looking at the ceiling.
Again, any questions, comments? We did TML, representing the city as, in the other capacity. And we'll be at TEDC representing you folks, in the next week, the 19th through the 21st. Oddly enough, both, are in San Antonio.
All righty, any other further questions or discussion? Number 9, President's Report. I do want to call out, I hope each one of y'all went through the current financial report for the month of September and kind of saw the difference in
Yes.
what proper accounting can look like. Those are the kind of reports that we'll be getting on a monthly basis.
Thank you.
We are still having some issues getting some information transferred over to us, accounts closed, things of that nature. So it's still being worked on behind the scenes as much as we can. With that, agenda item number 10, there is no executive session for tonight. Agenda item 11 is not applicable. Agenda item 12 is adjournment. Do I have a motion?
Move to adjourn?
A second?
Let's go.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are dismissed. Thank you all so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.